Hey everybody. So like I said in my announcement yesterday, I've changed things up a little bit in terms of the pace that we're going to be going at because I know we had lots of people who added a little bit late last week due to some registration issues, and I wanted everybody to get a chance to have some time to catch up. So I've revamped some things, and so today what I wanted to talk to you about in the video is the way that we're going to be organizing the rest of the course. So in week one, you all wrote a brainstorm about advice, essentially. It was a reading response that you wrote to an article that you read. This week, I'm going to be giving you some feedback on that reading response. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be giving you another brainstorm. And I'm also going to give you an introduction to the narrative essay, and we're going to come back to this in just a second. But first, I want to talk about this brainstorm. So I'm going to be posting for you a brainstorm activity. And it may seem a little strange to you that in week one I gave you a brainstorm, and now in week three I'm giving you another brainstorm. But here's what we're going to do. Our goal is to have two essays in play at once. So by the end of the semester, by the end of term, you'll have written two drafts of two complete essays. But in order to make that fit into the time that we have in the semester, you're going to be working on one while I'm giving you feedback on another one. So the way this is going to work is this week I'm having you do a second brainstorm. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go back to your first brainstorm from week one, and I'm going to give you feedback on it. And all of that feedback is going to be geared towards helping you to turn that brainstorm into the rough draft of an essay. While I'm doing that, you're going to be working on another brainstorm. And then week four, I will give feedback on the week three brainstorm, while you begin using feedback to turn week one's assignment into an essay rough draft. And we're going to go back and forth. This has a couple of benefits. One is it lets you get full feedback from me before you start to work on an essay. The second thing is that it also will allow you to kind of jump back and forth between essays, which seems like it might not be a beneficial thing, but in reality is actually a pretty good deal. Because sometimes when you get a break from an essay, you can think about it a little bit more clearly. And so by taking that little break and working on something different, you'll be able to come back to that previous piece of writing sort of with new eyes and to understand it a little better. So that's the plan for what we're going to be doing. So I wanted to set you guys up with that so that you'll know that. What you can expect this week is a brainstorm prompt. And in your brainstorm, you're going to be working on narrative, which is something that tells a story. And I'm going to be posting a little, it's like a PowerPoint presentation, but you can access it online. So if you're using a computer that doesn't have PowerPoint, you'll be able to access it. That talks a little bit about what a narrative essay is. And then I'm going to be posting a second video later in the week that goes through that PowerPoint. I didn't want to overload you guys with two videos in one day. So I'm going to post a new one in the middle of the week, and this is the format that the course will take. I'll post one video on Monday or Tuesday, and then a second video on Wednesday or Thursday. So I'll be posting a brainstorm prompt, giving feedback on week one writing, and posting an example of a narrative to kind of help you look at it. So remember, with your brainstorms, they don't have to be perfect. It's just you getting ideas down on paper. So as long as it looks like you're trying hard, and you followed the directions in the prompt, you're usually going to get most of the points from the brainstorm. It's just a way for you to get some things on paper so that I can give you some feedback. So follow the directions in the brainstorm prompt this week, and I think that you'll be in pretty good shape. And the other thing I wanted to add is that you guys may have noticed that I last week put up some practice grammatical exercises. I'm going to do that every week, and those are not things that you guys are required to do. They're just practice, because when I start giving you feedback, you may notice that there are certain grammatical errors that I mark down for you a lot. So if you notice that, you can come back to one of those grammar exercises in the modules and practice those a little bit. So that's what those are for. And I know that you may be sort of rolling your eyes at me right now and saying, well, if it's not required, we're not going to do it. Nobody ever does work that's not required. I get it. But I still want you to have the resources there just in case. And you may find later on that it'll be of a help to you. We also might find some ways later on in the semester to integrate some of those for points. So I'll be thinking about that and think about a way that we can integrate some of those things, maybe for some bonus points later in the semester. So that's the plan. Same as with any week, you guys get in touch with me by email if you have any questions. And look for that video that I'm going to be posting later in the week that goes into narrative in a bit more detail. All right, guys.